Yep.
Okay. Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Wednesday and it is time for another wrestling review. With me once again, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, and now wrestling, Campo.Reviews, back again. But before we get into the review, guys, 14 subs away. 14 subs in 2.5 weeks. I think we can do it. Let us get on that. If you want to see more wrestling reviews in the coming year, which we will be putting out, make sure you subscribe, stay notified, follow the Discord server, the Donut Shop. The link is in the comments below, in the description box below. Go on and give that a follow. I post every time there's a video. So whenever there's a new video, if you don't have that little bell on, it's in the Discord server, so you know it's out. So with that out of the way, guys, welcome back. And this time we will be reviewing ROH's final pay-per-view of the year, Final Battle.
Hey, Final Battle.
Apropos named.
Yeah, they hit their attendance record for Final Battle, so
well, there you go.
that's
See,
back to back.
There's a couple milestones in this show that we will get into. There was a pre-show, like a pre-show on YouTube, which was an hour. It was a little quick thing. Jeff Cobb beat Mascara Dorada. The Jericho Appreciation Society of Angelo Parker and Matt Menard beat the Shinobi Shadow Squad of Cheeseburger and Eli Isom. Willow Nightingale beat Trisha Adora, and Top Flight of Dante and Darius Martin beat the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, which surprisingly that was not on the main card. I thought that would have been
weird because that is a pay-per-view level match, I guess.
I would have swapped out that and the first match, the opening match on the card.
Yeah, okay.
I would have swapped it out, but then again, nobody would have watched the pre-show if it was because the opening match was Blake Christian, AR Fox against the La Faction, I guess, their version of LIJ, of Roosh and the Realistico, with Jose the assistant and Preston Vance, now part of this group as well. It was a weird matchup.
It wasn't bad, but
no,
this is the thing.
AR Fox was better in this match than he was on that match on Dynamite a few weeks ago.
Yeah. The point where he was just jumping out of the ring like one after another was pretty awesome. Yeah. I quite enjoyed this match. I wouldn't necessarily say it was amazing, but yeah, it was a good match. It was high flying, it was fast paced.
Yeah.
It was very hard hitting. At one point, AR Fox jumped completely over one of them and like almost killed himself.
A couple times I thought there was going to be a couple fatalities there in this match. When he took that chair shot to the head, I'm like, oh, I don't like seeing those. I don't, especially now we know what can happen with the injuries and stuff like that.
I mean, I'll take it, but I don't want to see like repeated.
Yeah, a la Rock and Mankind.
Yeah, but
I mean, yeah, for an opener, for what it was, at least Roosh is still like in the conversation, I guess.
Yeah,
because this guy is so good. Like,
AR Fox is pretty good.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's weird because Roosh normally, when you watch him on AEW, seems like one of the small guys, but in this match, he was literally double the size, like width-wise and height, than anybody in this match.
Blake Christian,
that dude looked
tiny.
He looked so big. I found it so strange.
And just a side note, Dralistico is Dragon Lee.
Okay.
So Dragon Lee is out of the group, but he's back.
I kept saying, I'm like, this is Dragon Lee. And they kept saying, it's this guy. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I'm talking to myself, right?
Dragon Lee under a different name. And it's Roosh's brother, so.
Yeah, I mean, to build a proper LIJ faction, that's like, you need that.
Yeah.
The three of them is great, a great team.
Yeah. With Andrade or with now with
Andrade.
Because now they added
Preston Vance. Preston Vance, and you technically have Butcher and the Blade, but you kind of don't anymore.
Yeah,
I'm really confused.
That's the storytelling
in AEW.
That was a little weird, but I mean, you have now a faction of four major, like it's not major players, but like 4 players and 4 pieces that now you have 3 guys that can go after the trios tag, and you have Andrade now that can be pushed into the All Atlantic Championship picture.
And then you have Roosh and Dragon Lee that could go for tag if you really want.
Yeah, if you really wanted to. Exactly. So they're building something really good with this.
I think Andrade is going to come right out of the gate when he comes back and be in the All Atlantic picture.
Yeah, I think he'll be. I think we discussed that on another video that we think he's going to come.
Or TNT, because Wardlow's ready to move on.
No, but Joe's the TNT champ.
but Joe is going to get double dethroned. Juice is going to win one, and Roosh is going to win the other one. I'm calling it now.
Okay. All right. So I mean, like you said, it was a good opening match, decent for what it was. I mean, not one of the best opening matches we've seen, but it was a good opening match. It got me excited, I guess, for the card. This was one of those cards that as it went on, it got a little better and a little better.
Yeah, but I was already happy with these matches.
Yeah, the matches itself were good. Like on paper, they were.
I forgot that Juice Robinson was fighting Samoa Joe. So when that match started, I was like, wait.
Yeah, right.
And I was so happy. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah. Next match we go into, it's Athena versus Mercedes Martinez for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship match. I'm sorry, but that little plastic googly eye at the middle of her forehead, that
the absolute like botch job of glitter where it looked like someone fucked up the whole thing. It's fine. I get it.
They're trying to. I'll take I'm not going to take away points for that, but the match in ring work was good.
And I started off a pretty big Athena fan. It dwindled as she moved into mediocrity, and she seemed happy there.
Yeah.
And then they're doing this whole dumb storyline with her now, which I was talking about it to somebody yesterday, and I don't like the idea that she beat up somebody really badly.
Yeah.
And then they're making that an angle now. But now they're allowing her to hit people hard as part of the angle. To me, that's not okay.
And is she a baby face or is she a heel? She's acting like her in-ring work is heelish, but then she's playing to the crowd like she's a baby face. And the crowd was 100% behind her too.
Oh, that's fine. It was actually
in a way it's a shame because Mercedes Martinez is really, really good.
But this is okay, so they're trying to build something here, which I'll talk more about.
And I'm pretty sure Martinez is trying to take a step back. She's 43, 44
I was just going to say that. There's definitely an angle here of going forward, which
she can still go. I'm not saying she's old.
Mercedes is stepping back because I think there's something she's planning on doing, becoming the head of the women's division for Ring of Honor or something like that.
Kind of like the head booker
which would make sense. She's hitting the twilight of her career and probably only wants to do
sporadic matches here and there.
Shawn Michaels type matches where can I put on the best match possible one time this year? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's Athena needed a title.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to dethrone Jade Cargill.
No.
And there's, like I said, there's plans going forward here, which we'll talk about at the end of this episode, but I don't want to talk about that now.
And Athena does win. Like I said, the only thing that threw me off was her in-ring work is heelish, but her crowd mannerisms are a baby face. So I'm not sure whether you cheer her or you boo her. But for what it was in terms of a women's match, it was good. It wasn't a bad match.
No, especially for the stuff we've seen recently in the AEW world. This is pretty good.
This is one of the better ones. But I just put down Martinez is so good, and she's one of those. She's maybe almost Jay Lethal type in the ring where she can make you look good, and I would get it. Yeah,
she's like a Jeff Jarrett.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Because she doesn't have the skill set of
exactly. She knows how to. It's not just a spot fest. On yesterday's review, we talked about Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, where it's just here's my moveset, and the match is over.
Yeah,
they worked with each other. There was a flow to the match.
There was a story being told in the ring.
Yeah,
and it felt emotional.
Yeah,
it was hard hitting.
Yeah,
it felt there was something there. There was a spark of something that made me be oh, and I should watch this.
Belts, and more belts. Belts add meaning to the match. If there's no belt on the line, there's no meaning to it.
Moving belts.
Yes. I think only one of the 6 belts did not change hands tonight.
Yeah, and I 100% thought that one belt was going to.
Yeah, I thought so too. Because the way it was going, I thought all the belts were changing hands tonight.
Yeah, which I'll talk about that when we get there again. But we digress.
Okay, Taz. Decent match. Next we get into the match of Swerve in Our Glory of Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee against ROH legend Shane Taylor and Ken Griffey Jr.
Okay, give me Ken Griffey Jr. Give me the floor. All right.
All right. Just Griffey, no shoes. You're already upset.
I'm already upset. So, but anyways, I also really hate the fact that they display him completely as an MMA fighter and not. He almost had no real wrestling moveset. He
No,
was just
he Muay Thai.
He was throwing like phony punches and kicks that looked really weird. But anyways, let's. I don't want to get there yet. I'm so tired of Keith Lee and Swerve, but this match told such a freaking good story.
Yeah,
especially with the history with Keith Lee.
Exactly. I thought that they were actually going to do, like, I thought they were actually done for, like Scott and Lee. But go on. Sorry, I had to
That's it. I think that the story told in this match from all angles was so good. How absolutely gassed all the wrestlers were
at the end.
They were getting tagged in and they didn't even look like they wanted to get tagged in. You know what I mean? And it was like there was so much left. They left everything in the ring.
Yeah.
And
they told that story about how Keith Lee and even Shane Taylor had history together, and like how Keith Lee turned his back on him, and that's what this match stems from. And like, they're saying like he acts like he's the good guy, but sometimes Keith Lee's the actual bad guy in this situation. And I honestly thought Swerve was going to turn and join Shane Taylor's faction.
You know what I thought was going to happen? There's a point in this match where they all squared up, all four people. I thought Shane and Keith Lee were going to turn around and beat up Swerve and the other guy, and they were going to leave together as the new tag team.
Yeah, I'd take that. But yeah, another good match. And I've noticed too, like, this did not suffer the overbloating of like, where it's like, here's a 25-minute match, here's a 30-minute match, these were nice short 10, 13, 12-minute matches. None of the matches really went on too long.
But they felt good.
Yeah. It was the right length.
Like I watched this very late. I finished it at like 3 a.m. But I never at any point was like, I gotta go to bed. I kept saying it's getting late. Maybe I should leave, but then the match would start, and I'm like, all right, I'm watching.
Because this aired on the same day as NXT Deadline, but this was at 4:00 in the afternoon, though it aired, right?
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I was at work on Saturday too, so I made the mistake of watching NXT first, and like I tried to watch it after we filmed on Saturday night, and I was like,
I did the reverse of that, and it didn't play as well as I thought it would, but
yeah.
I mean, hey, this was a good match.
Yeah, another good match, another solid match. Next, we have the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team Championship of the Embassy of Brian Cage and Gates of Agony against Prince Nana. With Prince Nana against Dalton Castle and the boys of Brendan Tate and Brent Tate. And again,
I dare
this
someone
guy
to not
no
like
shoes.
Dalton Castle and the boys.
Again, no shoes.
Yes, not a good thing.
No. Yeah, Dalton Castle and the boys, that's just like how they throw themselves in front of everything for him to protect him. It's like,
it's such a cinematic experience where,
but in a good way, not
works.
WWE cinematic.
No, the comedy works so well, but then when they're in the ring, the match is like a real match. These aren't three guys who can't go.
Dalton is actually deceivingly good in the ring.
Dalton put on one of the best matches of the year for AEW against Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho, yeah.
So, I mean, he can definitely wrestle. He's the best wrestler of all six of these people.
Yep.
And like it just works. Like, I really don't like the Embassy at all. I don't like any of the wrestlers there. There was a really, really bad spot where one of the boys had to just keep trying to jump to get on his back because he couldn't lift them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, everyone can see that it's been like 10 seconds of you trying to jump on this guy's back.
Yeah. Well, with this, it seems like no one cared for, like, it says don't care for the Embassy. Like, I even put it down. But the Embassy go over.
I think because they feel like they have to give Cage a title,
or else he'll walk too.
Yeah. Because this Cage
is a guy. Cage is like got Vince McMahon written all over him. He's like, he looks like a Vince guy. I'm sure they would jump on the opportunity.
And he listened to me. I'm going to be honest with you. He's not very good.
No,
he's okay.
He's like a Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman's way better.
Yes, but I mean, he's got the size, but his in-ring is kind of lacking.
Yeah. And he doesn't really, his character is dumb.
Yeah.
But like whatever, that's fine. They wanted to give him a belt. They're trying to, like I said, we'll talk about it after this event, but they're trying to build something.
Yeah, they're trying. Yeah, you could see that they're going. There's a direction, and we're on the right path with this company.
The two guys, the other guys, what are their names? I always forget their two names.
Brendan and Brent Tate.
No, not the boys.
Oh, what's his name? Kuan and Toa.
Yeah, so they are like, remember how we didn't like Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan?
Yeah, but they started growing on him.
These guys are not growing on me. They're like they're like what we thought that Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb were before we actually got to know who they were.
Yeah.
This is who these guys actually are. They're like a really middling tag team that they have the look, but they don't have the
talent. Yeah.
And maybe they'll get there. And I could see why they're doing this, because they're trying to protect them by giving them titles until they really go. But I mean, losing Tully Blanchard for this group, I think, is a huge loss.
Is it? Yeah, it was. It definitely was. Like we said, we have new World 6-man Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, I was upset about this.
Where does Dalton Castle go from here?
AEW trios.
Yeah. I think I could see that, because this was you know what? Dalton and the boys against Omega and the Bucks.
And I think that don't be surprised if you see a long hiatus for these three, where they go on a tour and they wrestle trios in Impact, trios in
Japan. Maybe. Yeah. I could see them going.
Trios in Mexico.
New Japan Strong. I could see them going
there
too.
They are the exact thing that Mexico and Japan love. Overly flamboyant comedy trio.
Yeah, I could see that. Totally see that. New champs, like I said. Next, we go into fantastic match. Wheeler Yuta against Daniel Garcia. This was round 3 for these two, each with a win apiece.
Third match,
third time's good. Third time's the charm.
All 3 of them were good matches.
This one was wrestled under the Pure Wrestling Rules match, so you're only allowed 3 rope breaks per match. So if you get if you use your 3 rope breaks and you have a 4th one, it doesn't count. You can't get a 4th rope break. No. So if you're like being in a submission hold under the ropes, they won't break the ropes, and you're only allowed 1 closed fist hit per match.
So,
and they get them out of the way really fast.
I just want to point 2 things out. Well, number 1, like, once again, in-ring storytelling. So they played in the factor of William
Regal. Rick Yakaboni.
No, William Regal. I said Rick. They played into the fact of William Regal not being there so hard, and you totally buy it. He lost his
mentor
to control what his anger. So he punches him back. He wastes all 3 of his rope breaks immediately.
They even say it Regal told him, don't use your rope breaks. Try not to
and it's so there's that factor. Then there's this long building story that's been happening between these two, where I could see this feud going on forever. 10 years from now, there's going to be a title match where it's Wheeler
for the heavyweight championship.
And this whole story is going to come back. But it's about his neck, about the feud between the JAS and BCC, and it's just there's
multiple threads to this one story,
and then now he's wasted all his rope breaks, so he has to survive this match, and you see the heart of Wheeler Yuta and him just go, and this was a really good match.
Even I put down
pure wrestling
match. Literally, I even put down these are 2 great young talents that have such a bright future ahead of them that it's even the thing is too, Yuta's not a big dude either. He's a smaller dude, but his stuff looks believable, almost like a Daniel Bryan type of thing. I could see you know what I mean? He's not a big guy, but the talent is there.
It really works between these two. I'm trying to think. It's I don't know. They just know how to put on a match, and this is when we first started watching pay-per-views, before I really knew what a technical meant, the word technical.
Yeah, technical wrestler.
This is what I considered like a technical wrestling match, where yes, there was a lot of actual technical wrestling happening here, but a match that has like, the better word for it is pure. It's a match that has a lot of groundwork, a lot of really basic wrestling moves, a lot of submissions and stuff, and it just, there's nothing way over the top about this match. It's just a
in the ring,
in-ring wrestling match.
They tried to live up to the name of the belt, the pure championship.
And this is like what happened for me. This was like the Punk versus Hangman. This was Hangman versus Adam Cole. Like the matches that Caps didn't like at the end of those things. But it's just like, this is like the purest form of wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. This was like I said, Wheeler Yuta ends up winning on a ref stoppage, which was very surprising.
But I liked it because it protected both of them.
It protects Garcia because he didn't submit, he didn't get pinned. The referee stopped the match,
and they're gonna have another match,
and they will absolutely. This will be like over the next few months. They're gonna trade this belt back and forth.
I see he's gonna lose the belt again.
Yeah,
this was huge for Wheeler's Wikipedia. You know how much I love to talk about that, and it's going to be huge. And once again, when we're done talking about the pay-per-view, I'll talk about everything. But I
feel like they announced that 2023 they're going to bring ROH back to TV. The first ROH TV show, I see that this is the main event for the Pure Championship.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be on the Ring of Honor
service,
I guess, that they're building.
The Honor Club.
So
so you can go back and watch all the old matches too. Next
that's a good thing.
Yeah. Next we have another fantastically brutal match. And I'm usually not a fan of these type of gimmicks, but this one worked. FTR against them boys, the Briscoes, in a dog collar match.
This is the best dog collar match maybe ever, and definitely in the argument for the best of any gimmick match this entire year.
Absolutely.
This match rivaled the last match that they had.
Yeah.
At the last Ring of Honor event. It was
2 out of 3 falls. Yeah.
Insane.
Like blood everywhere.
But this was not like irrelevant John Moxley blood. This blood was like completely told the story of this
justified, and it was justified.
Feud.
Now look at this dog collar match and how much color there was, even to the point where even the ref was bleeding at one point.
Okay, listen, the ref bladed and he fucked up. He was spraying blood out of his head. Like you could see the other refs caught on right away that
and he went right to him
way too deep, and they're like, we need to get him medical help right now.
Yeah, they kind of took him off camera, they took him away off camera, but to the point where the ref bled in this. That's my point.
But it spoke to the story of this match.
Yes. Compared to like the War Games match we watched a few weeks ago, where a little bit of color would have told such a big story.
100%, because that was like a real feud similar to this. And even in the women's match, because Mia Yim will bleed. Yeah. And you could have easily pulled that off.
Oh, Owens and Zayn would have bled like stuck pigs for you.
Yeah, of course they would have. And it's like, and that would have told such a story, especially if it was Owens versus Zayn punching each other, and then both
they just start bleed. Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that would have been perfect. But
it would have been, and
way, speaking of blading, Moxley versus Takeshita past week was amazing. Anyway,
it was another good match. Yes.
And I don't even like Moxley.
Yeah.
But I mean, this match was such a well-told story.
But even some of like the crazy spots, like you see Dax wrap the chain around his head and he does the diving headbutt with the chain wrapped around his head. Like there's a point where like Cash is on the top rope and Mark pulls him with the chain off the top rope and kind of nuts him. Like
I love like the references too to Dusty Rhodes and to the Dynamite Kid and Terry Funk and like all these things they're talking about. And it's like, this is what I even
enjoyed the commentary team of Ian and Caprice Coleman. He has improved Caprice Coleman.
I really like their chemistry together.
Yeah.
But the thing that I didn't like is in the final match, there was like, because he had the feud going with Jericho and he was trying to play the story angle. It didn't work.
Yeah.
But I digress. There was a lot of really amazing spots here.
The fact that they decided to wear white trunks, so when they were bleeding, all you see is like,
Dax was like bloody.
Yeah.
A huge spot when he, Cash was fighting with Mark on the top of the ring post, and he flipped him over onto the pile of chairs. I could not believe how far and how high he jumped from to land on chairs.
Yeah.
I was like, we haven't seen a spot like this in wrestling in a long time.
This reminded me very much of like an ECW match or you know what I mean? Like that type of
a really early Ring of Honor match. Like before they had a TV deal.
Yeah, very much so. It was a good match. Like,
you know what I didn't like? That they pulled out a table. And they didn't break the table.
And they didn't break the table. Okay.
You know how I feel about that.
But and then the finish came with when he does like that power bomb with the chain over the top onto the pile of chairs. And Jay does that to Dax, and as he's pinning him, you see Mark pulling Cash back with the chain to not let him in the ring to break up the pin, and the Briscoes go over. But the
Briscoes went over in a way that was like, okay, first of all, Dax was gonna pile drive him from the top rope onto the chairs. I was like, if they do this, I quit, because this is the greatest moment ever in wrestling.
And this is coming like 2 weeks after the Briscoes had one hell of a fight against the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, and FTR has been booked like crazy lately, and this was my number one thought. I understand you own them. Like, okay, that sounds bad, but you own the
company.
FTR. And they're wrestling for, both of these guys work for this company that they're wrestling for. So this is first priority.
Yeah.
But you know that there's going to be a massive match at Wrestle Kingdom. Most likely for them. And
they're going to tell the story.
Them do this match so close to Wrestle Kingdom. Like,
they're telling the story because last week, FTR took the fall against the Acclaimed.
Yes. I already...
And now they've taken the fall against the Briscoes.
And now they've lost right?
2 belts. They're going to lose the belts.
They're going to lose New Japan.
And then they're going to lose the AAA.
And then they're going to lose AAA. And then they're going to beat the Acclaimed and take back the... whatever they're called.
The AEW
titles.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah.
But that's going to be great.
It will be. Absolutely.
And I'm excited for that because
at this point, a loss for FTR won't hurt them. They've solidified
a loss for
themselves.
FTR is a win for someone else.
Yeah, because now you beat one of the greatest tag teams of this generation.
They've been on the Ricky Steamboat thing. They're everywhere. These guys are like the face of real wrestling.
Of tag team wrestling for sure. They are the face
purest tag team wrestling, sir.
Yeah, no worries. Absolutely.
Suck the hair up my nose.
Yeah.
But
lovely.
It was, and then you had the Ass Boys come out.
Yeah, and then Dax is like dead on the floor, and he's still saying anytime. And
then the Briscoes came out. See, this is the point when the Briscoes got the clap for them first, and then they left, and it was very FTR of them to do that, and that's what I'm looking for in wrestling.
Yeah, because then there was that mutual show of respect. Like, you know what, we went through hell together.
You better have a mutual show of respect after that.
Yeah, like they went through war together. Now they're going to go out and they're going to have a beer together. Because
that was a borderline McFoley / Terry Funk match where they would just kill themselves for the
product. Yeah, for the event.
And
go for a drink afterwards.
That was crazy. Yeah. And also they let the Briscoes win in a way that made them look badass, but also didn't take away from FTR.
It didn't hurt FTR.
He died.
Out.
He was just like hanging from a rope, from a chain.
Yeah, so it made them both look. This was again back-to-back ref stoppages. This wasn't a tap. This was it keeps them strong. I like it.
Again, planning for the actual Ring of Honor to come back.
Yeah, because who better than the Briscoes going into the new Ring of Honor as your tag champions?
Yeah, and you know what?
This is a team that have been loyal to this company we're talking close to 15 years.
Yeah. And when they did leave, they didn't go to a major company. They sat in Impact and waited to come back. They waited for their return to come back to the company. And They never sold out.
Nope.
I'm gonna just say this right now, and people can get upset if they want to. The Briscoes are top 10 tag teams of all time.
Yeah, I can agree to that. I can actually agree to that. Tag team, non-WWE tag team, like tag teams in general, non-WWE, other than maybe the exception of the Usos.
The Uso, okay, look, I know we're gonna go through a list one day, and it's gonna be like so hard to be like, oh, Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, the Rockers, like all this stuff, and be like, well, these modern guys are better, but no, the Usos, FTR,
and
the Briscoes,
Young Bucks,
the Young Bucks, they belong in the top 10 for a reason, and it's you're gonna be hard, maybe even Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah,
you know
maybe
what?
There has to be two lists. Classic tag teams and modern tag teams.
I'm hard pressed to say Roppongi 3K doesn't belong in there, because I still cannot believe the accomplishments that Show and Yo had to split.
Yeah,
absolutely. To run with a storyline where they split seems absolutely insane to me.
At their peak.
Yeah, and like that's just crazy.
Yeah, even you got to put the Golden Lovers up there too.
You got to put the Golden Lovers up there.
So, but yeah,
you got to put Gato and Jado up there too.
Yeah, like there's so many, like especially now, especially within the last couple of years, that our horizons have been broadened a little bit more with international, and like there's more out there, and I'm just taking it all in.
It's not, variety is the spice of life.
Exactly. So with that, we go into our next match, which was such a great thing to see. Juice Robinson against Samoa Joe. You called it. Juice Robinson is going to be one of the major players in ROH when ROH launches next year. And
I think it's
and
a
I'm
weird
okay.
thing.
I'm good with that.
It's such a weird thing because we came into doing this and we were like, fuck Juice. And after a while, it's just like, I was so happy to see Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's Juice.
That's Juice. This match is going to be good.
Club on. You know why I like this even more? Because this gives me the hope that Bullet Club will expand into Ring of Honor. And and we might lose Bullet Club in New Japan because we see that storyline slowly coming up.
We're watching this tournament, like the World Junior Tag and the World Tag League. You see, they are pushing United Empire hard.
Yeah, and I could see this becoming a feud where all the remaining Bullet Club people will be in the North American wrestling companies, and they are going to feud with New Japan as with their United Empire faction that's going to keep growing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because in this tournament, the only Bullet Club members you really have are Chase Owens
and Chris Bay and Ace Austin.
That's on the junior side, and on the heavyweight,
and then House of Torture
subdivision. But you have Catch 22. You have what's it called? You have Fletcher and Thing on the other side. You have Great O'Con and
Aaron Hanari. But listen, I don't get that tag team.
Yeah. Unless Cobb's contract is done and they're trying to negotiate something for him.
It could be. Or they're using him because Jay White has been wrestling a lot on Strong lately.
Yeah.
Because the tournaments are happening, so he's not getting any TV time. So I think maybe... But
because
last
Jeff
year,
Cobb was on this show.
Yeah, Hanare and Great O'Con made it to almost to the finals last year.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why they paired them up again, because it's like people.
It tells a good story.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, and it started off as a really good match. Juice is so good at playing the chicken shit heel.
Yeah. But the thing is, he's so badass while also being a chicken shit. It doesn't make any shit. It doesn't
make sense. And I think that's what makes his character so enjoyable and so endearing and so like fun to watch, is because you want to see him get the shit beat out of him, but when it's time to go, Juice can go.
Yeah, you know what? Also, the shirt he has, Rock Hard Club, looks really cool. I might have to buy that.
I think we might have to get that shirt.
But yeah, there's a spot here where Samoa Joe has him in a sleeper outside the ring.
Yeah,
and he like flings himself back and
into the barricades.
Joe hit really hard. You could see Juice look up, like, "Oh shit,
are you okay?"
And then follows it up with a cannonball, where he came in so hot. I was like, I couldn't
Yeah,
believe
but
it.
Juice got a receipt later when Joe picked him up for the Muscle Buster.
Yeah.
And almost fucked him up there too.
But I think he knew he was going to get a receipt
Yeah.
for that because he went really hard with that pushback.
Yeah, and he did it like, and he accepted it because that's
Yeah.
that's what it's about.
But in Japan, that's like the rules of the road. It's not like
Yeah.
North American wrestling where you're like very protected. You know what I mean?
Things you're gonna get hurt, and yeah, it turned out to be another fantastic match. Title does not change in this match. So
I thought it was. I think this is the one we thought would, and I think Dalton Castle was the one I thought wouldn't.
Okay. See, that works though, because like we keep saying, when they relaunch Ring of Honor, this could be another match on the card.
This is gonna be a feud.
Yeah.
I truly believe we're gonna get a large match, maybe a 4-way match that's gonna have Juice and Wardlow and somebody else.
Yeah. I think Juice might bring somebody from Japan to help him win the belt against Joe.
Okay, I'll take that.
Like,
or maybe when Ace Austin or someone comes back.
Yeah.
Because Impact has a really good relationship with AEW.
Yeah. Or even just for a one-off, bring in Fale.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Or Chase.
Yeah. And help him win. ELP. Like anybody.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah.
You got it. You nailed it.
ELP. That's when
because he's such a chicken shit too.
Yeah, and like, it works. And they'll like celebrate together, and then Juice turns his back on him. It tells itself, the story. It's going to tell itself. Yeah. Good match. Another solid match. Like I said, this has been one of those fully enjoyable shows. It hasn't gone on too long, but like the length is perfect. And then we go into our main event of the night. Chris Jericho against Claudio Castagnoli for the ROH World Heavyweight Championship. If Claudio loses this match, he has to join the JAS. I honestly thought that's what was going to happen, because without Regal,
I did not. I know they're trying to do some kind of thing with where they're trying to split up Blackpool Combat Club.
Mm-hmm.
But now I see kind of what's going to happen, which I said we'll talk about at the end of this. But I did not expect Jericho to lose because he
put such weight behind that belt in the last 6-7 months.
If you're going to talk about PWI top 500 next year, if Chris Jericho's not in the top 10, I don't know what to say, because he put on some absolute bangers and defended the title every single week. Every single week.
In amazing matches, too.
Against huge names.
Yeah. Like, he only had the belt, from September till... Because he won it at Grand Slam, right? So at the show, so September to December.
And it's just been banger. Like, I don't know, fighting Japanese guys, fighting Mexican guys, it didn't matter. It's just like
him again, that Bandito match. Like, oh my God, like Jericho has to be in the contentions for one of the great, like
he is.
We maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we wouldn't have said that, but this second career that Jericho's had with AEW,
it's because the latter half of his WWE career was played as a joke.
Yeah. And I think that's why he went to AEW, was because of the fact that
his time in Japan was like
a rejuvenation.
A rejuvenation of what he loved about wrestling, where Shawn Michaels did. Every match was a huge spectacle, where it was a match of the year of candidate. Yeah.
And the Alpha versus Omega, like the
Alpha versus Omega, him against Naito was insane. Like he faced Tanahashi, he faced Okada.
Painmaker gimmick, yeah,
and it's like you get that back, and then here was a chance to like do it again with these matches. He was like, okay, I can defend this title and give it relevance by facing every big person I could possibly.
And
the
still
lowest person he
good.
faced was Colt Cabana, and that was still a good match.
But I mean, it made all the people that he faced, it didn't kill their career. If anything, it's going to further their career, because you had such a
epic. He beat Bryan Danielson like 3 times.
Yeah. But yet it wouldn't hurt someone like Bryan Danielson. It didn't hurt Bandito, because Bandito put on such a good match.
Oh, Bandito won that match.
Like, it made Colt Cabana look amazing. Like, that's the best Colt Cabana's looked in like the last 10 years.
And I love the idea that they were like, you know what, fuck CM Punk, we're gonna make you look amazing tonight.
Yeah. So
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
But it was a fantastically physical match. Like, it was the only thing I could do without was at one point you had Matt Menard and Angelo Parker come out for the distraction. I'm like, I could do without that. But
But
then
I
again,
liked how that didn't help.
yes, because Jericho does get the bat. He clocks Claudio with the bat.
And when's the last time you've seen someone get tapped out from the giant spin or
The
whatever
giant
it's called?
swing? It's never happened before. The Jericho's tapping the mat as he's spinning. Because the referee kicks out the JAS, like, get out of here.
This match had one of the best gimmicks I've seen all year, where anything that involved the letter 8 turned into Ocho.
So yes, when they're counting
so
1,
good.
2.
When the ref was doing the outside count and everyone screamed, he's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's almost as like it was just as good as
that's good comedic stuff.
Yeah, it is, and that's the crowd just running away with it. There is going to be a Ocho t-shirt eventually for sure. There has to be.
The Ring of Honor crowds bring something different than anything else.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate a lot of it. They have a lot of fun with it. They're almost like they remind me of the Welsh crowd that for Clash at the Castle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Where
they're just having fun.
Like, they're just having fun. Everyone was just vocal and like all kinds
having
of
a good
awesome
time.
chants.
Yeah,
We Them Boys, and like when that was all happening. This was a decent all around experience.
Yeah, it was good. It was just as fun as the last one.
I think this was better.
Yeah,
I think this was better.
Yeah. Mine's I think in the same vein, but yeah, I think
it's pretty close.
Yeah, I don't have the spreadsheet on this PC yet. I have it on the other PC. I haven't transferred it over, so I don't remember the scores there. But I do know that I did enjoy the show, and let's start with our match of the night.
FTR.
Yeah, yours is the FTR match. I don't know.
I don't think I cannot pick the FTR match.
Okay, because you picked the FTR not to be the same. I'm going to go Garcia Yuta. Just to be different, because both have been amazing matches, and they both need to be. You need to watch them both. You need to watch this whole card. The whole card was fantastic. Yeah, it was a good card. I would even say there was no bad match of the night.
The worst match of the night, and none of the matches were bad, was the cheeseburger match, because the guy's name is Cheeseburger.
Yeah, agreed. But even Cheeseburger is fun to watch. I gave this a pretty high score. I gave it a 7.6.
Okay, so I gave Death Before Dishonor a 7.7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give this a 7.9.
Really?
I think that in terms of entertainment, this has to be like just on the cusp of making my top 5. I think they know what they're doing with this Ring of Honor product.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're doing it exactly Ring of Honor style.
Well, with that segue, let's talk about what we're going to talk then.
Well, hold on. Segue still. They're giving them what they want. They're keeping it bare bones while also improving on the production value that they did have.
Yeah.
And they're keeping the card small and only having quality matches.
Yeah.
Where AEW,
the card was not that small. The card had 8, 9 matches.
The actual card was what, 6?
8.
Was it 8?
Yeah.
But they were all good.
Yeah.
But an AEW card would have had 12 matches.
And it would have been 9 and it would have been 9 hours.
Yeah. And I don't know. This was just that FTR match was great. Wheeler Yuta was great. Chris Jericho match was great.
Yeah.
The trios match was really good.
Even the Athena, Martinez was
good. Even the opening match was super entertaining. And it's like, see what I mean? Like, it's hard. The Joe versus Joe.
Yeah.
Juice Robinson match was good. I don't know. But you can see what they're doing here. Okay.
Yeah. There's a plan for the future.
This is what I'm saying. They took the trios title from Dalton Castle and the boys. They're gonna build a feud. I think they have plans to do stuff with them for now.
Okay.
But you give relevance to these guys because you're going to permanently keep the embassy on Ring of Honor. So you need to give them clout. The Yuta and Claudio are going to become the two big names, or two of the big names of Ring of Honor.
This is where the split from BCC happens.
And this is what I'm saying. I think also Brian Danielson is also going to Ring of Honor, and I think Jon Moxley is the only one who is going to stay in AEW, and that's why they're kind of pushing him out of the team.
Yeah.
I also think that they're going to they want to push Juice as one of the main people in Ring of Honor. They want to probably move the Kingdom to Ring of Honor. That's why the Kingdom was here at all. I think the Ass Boys might get moved to Ring of Honor. That's why they appeared here.
Yeah, they're going to have a feud with them boys.
I think that, and Samoa Joe has to stay at the top. So they're going to keep him with both titles. But I believe he's going to lose both titles because they want to give Juice relevance, and they want to bring the TNT title back to AEW. They want to move all the AEW titles back to AEW. Every company's resetting. That's what's happening. Everyone's resetting here for the new year. And so everything's going back where it belongs. And they're not going to take Jericho off AEW. So
no.
But Claudio was the perfect choice to be the face of this company.
Oh yeah. Claudio, he's an ROH original almost. Yeah. Like it makes sense for Claudio to win this match.
Wheeler's ready for a push, and he doesn't have the space in AEW.
No.
Garcia, they want to keep in AEW because he's homegrown and they want to build him.
Yeah.
So that's why they removed the title off him, because he's not going to be on the weekly Ring of Honor show. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, this is where I'm seeing this all. Athena is going to become the leader of the women's division in Ring of Honor. Mercedes is going to move to like an executive position,
a backstage producer role, that kind of stuff.
Like corporate person. Like, like the the Vince McMahon type, where she's gonna come out and cause shit. Be like, the match is gonna be between you and you.
Like what Adam Pearce or like what Sonya Deville is doing.
Serena Deeb has been pulled out of the Jamie Hayter / Britt Baker faction because she's going back to Ring of Honor.
Yeah. They have a solid foundation for their new, like, Claudio going in to the new era of ROH works as the champion. And Wheeler Yuta works as the champion.
I think Thunder Rosa is also going to get moved to Ring of Honor because they're not going to move Toni Storm, and they're not going to move Hayter or Britt Baker, but she carries enough weight, and they already don't like each other. Just put her on Ring of Honor.
A good feud between Athena and Thunder Rosa.
The people we've said, should it turn out like that, that roster's already good, and that's not even including all of the Ring of Honor people who actually work for Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor, yeah.
Like Top Flight, I think, is going to Ring of Honor.
Yeah, because there's really nothing for them.
Yeah, and you can make them into a faction with AR Fox and that other guy.
Yeah. There's so many positives coming in for 2023 in pro wrestling in general. It's something. Impact has finally found their stride this year, and they've been putting on great show after great show. Overdrive was really, really good. They have another one coming up. They announced now at Hard to Kill that it's going to be what's her name, Jordan Grace against Mickie James.
I want Masha.
There was already, go watch it, Masha 2.
There was Masha 2?
At Overdrive. I told you that last time.
Well, she clearly didn't win because Jordan Grace is still the champion.
But still, it was still just as good.
Okay.
You need to watch it. It was just as good. There'll probably be a Masha Jordan 3.
There should be. Like, where did that lady come from?
I don't know. But she's good. She's amazing.
Who cares, right?
Jungle Juice.
There's a lot of good Jungle Juice. There's a lot of good things on the paper here. WWE's improving, except on NXT.
Yeah, I think the Rumble is what's going to take WWE
the new direction. I absolutely agree with you. And then the WrestleMania, bringing back all the big names, is going to push them forward.
Yeah.
New Japan is moving in a new direction with all these new young guys, and it looks great. All Japan is kind of making a comeback. Pro Wrestling Noah looks like they're ready to blow up.
Yeah.
DDT being bought by the company that owns Pro Wrestling Noah has given them a chance to grow as a company.
Or GCH or whatever it is. Yeah.
And so, I mean, CMLL and AAA are still banging. They're
Yeah,
not going anywhere.
they're not going anywhere. They'll be there forever. So
The English companies have grown a lot.
Progress, ICW.
Yeah. ICW and Progress have both grown quite a bit. Yeah.
If WWE were smart, they own the rights to Evolve. They can do something really good there.
I think that's the plan. Because they'll immediately dominate that market. I mean, those Rev Pro fans and the ICW fans will not be happy about it.
No.
But I mean, there's not really any other product there that's very big. The Italian wrestling scene is small. The German wrestling scene is really small.
But even in the US, like, you don't hear much from Gorilla, Pro Wrestling Gorilla or Dragon Gate anymore.
No, you don't. And I mean, GCW is still really pop. GCW is by far the most popular independent company ever.
And CZW as well.
And MLW, but MLW is not independent.
No, Court Bauer they got a TV deal and everything with them.
But I mean, hey, that's just good signs for next year.
Yeah.
Especially everyone seems to be happy working together.
Yes.
Minus AAA and CMLL. That's a lot of cartel action, but
yes. A lot of stuff going on over there. So with that out of the way, guys, tell us what you thought if you watched this pay-per-view. This is probably the last pay-per-view of the year that we will be reviewing. So let us know in the comments below, what was your favorite pay-per-view that you watched this year? What was the favorite match you've seen this year? We will be doing our year-end review with our favorite matches, favorite pay-per-views, favorite wrestlers of the year.
Shout out to Gleet Boy.
Gleet Boy.
All right, sorry, I had to.
No worries. We'll be doing that in the next coming weeks. And next week, Campo and I will be back. We will be doing our December, basically expanding on what we did at the end of this episode and talking about what this year had in wrestling, what we're looking forward to in next year, basically our state of wrestling for the month of December. So stay tuned next week for that. So with that out of the way, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see everyone next time.